Okay, so my name's Rob, and I'm a language learner, and I'm learning French. So I can't give you any tips. I can't speak particularly well in French, but I'm learning French, and this is why I'm making the video. Firstly, I want to make a video to proactively help me, remember to learn, to look to learn, to maybe challenge myself, and to keep myself accountable to the learning process. But also, I wanted to be able to help other people who might also be struggling with language learning. Now, there are lots of videos on the internet from polyglots and other people like that who are very accomplished in their language learning skills, and I believe that there weren't very many people who are actually learning a language badly like I am. Now, what I'm doing currently is wading through masses of different techniques and strategies, trying to find that. I'm not panicking about it, but just trying to find that learning path that suits me and suits my learning itself. I think after I've done the first language, I think after I've learned to speak and use French in a fluentish kind of way, I'll be able to look back and assess what I learned and how I learned best, and then and move forward onto the next language, which I would love to do because I do love language. I don't really understand where that comes from particularly, but I do. In my nature, I'm a very shy person. I'm typically introvert, so making videos like this and things is only really possible because I've already made videos on gaming. I've just never been in front of the camera, so this is a bit weird for me. But I suppose I've always wanted to learn language. I remember when I was a little boy, sitting in a restaurant, in the play area of a restaurant, pretending to speak other languages, and I always found it fascinating. I always found other languages beautiful and fascinating and interesting, and I love the culture of the people, the connection you can have with other people because you're speaking their language, and all of that I want to be able to think. I also want to combat there's a part of me that's very passionate about English people and not speaking other languages because everywhere in the world people speak better English than we do. I find that really irritating. I find it almost quite ignorant of the English and of myself, that I will assume that if I go to a country and speak slowly enough, that people will be able to understand what I'm saying, and that I shouldn't take the time to learn their language. So yeah, there's a lot of languages I want to learn. Currently learning French. Would love to learn German because I did German in school for 5 years, but that wasn't very successful. Even though I remember being very excited when the course started and the learning started, and I was very up for learning German, and suddenly had this thing. Even in primary school, I remember having French, and we did a bit of counting and things like that, but always really enjoying it. I think my problem with language learning came down to the fact that in England in the 80s and the 90s, you weren't really taught much English grammar in school. I mean, our foundation level English grammar was we were never sat down and explained the structure of a sentence, or explained that what a verb is or what an adjective is, which really hinders your language learning if you're going forward. For example, since starting to learn French, I've learned so much more about grammar, and actually I think most of my time that I've actually had problems, it's because I haven't had that grammar base to go back from. So if maybe my first tip then is, if you were like me and grew up in the 1980s and 90s and didn't have that base in grammar in English, just have a look on a few kids' websites and learn what the different terminology is, because even just knowing what something is and what it does, it makes such a difference. Now, I'm nowhere near grammatically sound as of yet, but I think that really helped me recently progress forward in my language learning, just having a base of English grammar, which actually makes sense. So anyway, my point of making this video was that, like I said, there are a lot of videos out there by polyglots. There's a lot of videos out there by other people who wouldn't class themselves as polyglots but have decent language skills, or language teachers. But there's a lot of us, like me, people like me, who are struggling forward every day, trying to learn that new language and trying to get, that progression to happen. And I feel like maybe if I was a bit more accountable, maybe if I had somewhere where I could explain what I was going through, maybe there's someone out there who could give me some advice. Maybe I could actually help other people, inspire them to carry on and keep going, and see if we can get to that level of fluency, which might actually be useful at some point. Yeah. So yeah, this is hopefully the start of a few videos, and we'll see where it goes. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.